Welcome to Inside Design with Kandrak and Cole. This podcast is a conversation between two business partners, Joanne Kandrak and Kelly Cole. Join us for a lively conversation about all things interior design, from current projects, trade show experiences, worldwide travel, what's in, what's out, and all the challenges and wins they've had running their successful design business. Whether you're a seasoned interior designer, new to the industry, or a creative enthusiast, you will walk away with insightful information, newfound inspiration, and a smile on your face after listening to these two. And here they are, Joanne and Kelly.
Hey everybody, welcome to Inside Design with Kandrak and Cole. And today we are very excited to introduce Johnny Davis and Ken Lewis of J. Davis Digital. They bring an awesome business opportunity for anyone who's looking for top-notch photography, videography, cinematography, or pre-press services. So before I read a short story, I will let you know that a GRIP, G-R-I-P, is a technician in the film and video production industry who sets up and supports camera and lighting equipment. When I was sent this story, I didn't know what a GRIP was, and I figured maybe a lot of you didn't either. So
thank you for that, because I did not know.
You will see now.
It's like a roadie. Like I didn't,
Yeah. So the story starts the question, how do you define success? This was a question that was posed at a dinner table to a small group of bleary-eyed photographers and grips at 2 a.m. after another overnight photo shoot during High Point Market. After Johnny posed that question, the answers came back and were varied and expected. Money, fame, security, and family. None of those answers were wrong, but none of those were the idea that Johnny found summed up success. Johnny had thought for a long time about that question, and he decided as he worked shoulder to shoulder with this group of guys that their success defined his success. He decided that as he grew his company from a basement studio, shooting swatches into a successful, thriving creative agency, that he would always measure the success of the company by the personal development and enrichment of those individuals he hired and brought into his family. How great is that?
Yes.
Johnny's parents were heavily involved in the pre-press and graphic imaging industry. And as a native of High Point, North Carolina, he was raised around the furniture industry. After earning a degree in graphic design and advertising, he looked at the industry around him and knew there was a better way to create images that would showcase the products designed and created in his own community. Johnny Davis Photography was created as the response to a desperate situation. There was no safety net. There was no option to fail. Johnny was all in from day one.
He never sought the accolades, and he never led with ego or arrogance. He created a studio where anyone could come from any background at any skill level, and he would take the time to teach them a trade, an art, and instill a pride and a passion in his employees that allowed them to grow and experience success however they defined it. Even as his career continued to advance from fabrics and finish panels to silos and room scenes, he never settled for the safe route. He's our kind of guy. Johnny continued to steward his success in the next evolution of his dream. When other photographers would have settled into a sustainable rhythm, Johnny continued to invest his savings and his time into opening a brick and mortar studio where creatives would gather like an imaginative field of dreams. From commercial photography, Johnny had the vision of bringing those beautiful still images to life and invested in creating a cinematography division. He built a team of talented creators and editors from all backgrounds and industries, all working together to build something that had no barriers on what they could dream and achieve.
Those at Johnny Davis Digital are so honored and humbled to look back at where each of them began to where they are now, proudly servicing more than 36 of the most iconic brands in furniture, including Bernhardt, Hooker, and Century Furniture, to name a few. They're also partners in the forward-thinking design community, which we love, of HPXD, and are excited to see the next chapter of High Point and the design capital they see it becoming.
Yeah.
Not willing to typecast themselves into one niche, They also create stunning tourism commercials
Cool.
and photography campaigns for Rockingham County and Madison, North Carolina, as well as branding videos for interior designers, boutiques, and companies from grassroots to corporations. They are so proud of their talented team of photographers, videographers, retouchers, editors, assistants, grips, and stylists. And together they have learned to trust the process, exceed their clients' expectations, and constantly push the boundaries of what they can achieve. They're excited for the next chapter of their studio and can't wait to see where the road leads. I love it's part of your bio, like exceeding client expectations. I want to add that to ours. That was just a great idea. I think if one of your goals is to exceed your client expectations, you definitely got one up. So that's their story. So welcome, Ken and Johnny.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. That
Welcome,
was amazing.
guys.
I loved hearing you guys read that.
Yeah, you read it so much better.
That was amazing.
Make you feel good about yourself.
It does.
You know what?
No, I want to work for me now.
Yeah.
You want to work for you.
I got so excited we forgot to talk about our sponsor.
Yeah. Let's do that before we dive into our conversation, because we're really psyched that this episode is sponsored by Atlanta Market, which is the only wholesale product discovery experience that gives designers more. We will be kicking off this year visiting all the fun events and networking opportunities that the Atlanta Market offers. That's the January show I'm talking about. It's a great way for our design business to discover new resources, trends, and product introductions for our clients. Plus, it's the best way to connect in person with thousands of manufacturers and our beloved sales reps that we have such good relationships with. So this January, we're most excited to see the new high design temporaries, which is already a favorite, but and the massive outdoor furnishings category, so that we get some great fun ideas for the spring and summer months. So to learn more and to pre-register, which is always the best idea for Winter Market, it's January 14th to the 20th this year. Visit atlantamarket.com. So we hope to see you there. All right.
How great is that?
Yeah. All right. So let's dive in.
Let's dive in.
So just a little background. We were at we met Ken twice at this last High Point Market. We were at an amazing dinner at Asian Loft with our friend Jessica Deuce, and we were introduced. And then we went to another event at American Leather and continued our party, and just had such a great time talking about everything that Johnny and Ken do. And we were impressed with the videos and all the production that they've done for our friends Jessica Deuce and Jane Dagme. So we just connected. And so we thought that you guys would really be interested to hear about everything that they do from a creative standpoint, because I think these kind of conversations are good for no matter what kind of entrepreneur you are, being very smart about your photography and your videos, and showing your true authentic self to your audience is the most important thing you can do, right?
Well, as you can see, they're very creative storytellers.
Yes.
So you want to explain to us, you talk about bridging, from photography to videography.
Yeah.
So talk to us about that.
Well, in terms of being creative storytellers, I think that we as a culture, the species, humans, we've always been storytellers, and we've gone from cave paintings, to oral traditions being passed down to, books. And then, when photography was invented, and then videography, we have always enjoyed telling stories. And the best stories to tell that we have found are those that resonate deeply within us. If it connects to us, and if we can get motivated and excited about it, then I think other people will too. And so we've always tried to kind of keep that at the forefront of our minds. I call it the Steve Jobs effect. When Steve Jobs was alive, he was, very successful. But even after he passed away, within a couple years of his passing, there were 2 biopics, big Hollywood productions that were, produced about telling his story, because there was so much more to that man than, what we knew through, his, once a year iPhone launches and his and I think that every person, every entrepreneur, every creative has that same story on a different stage. And so trying to connect to those businesses, when you talk to the furniture designers that we speak to, and interior designers, there are such commonality, in sleepless nights, in failure after failure and picking yourself up again and again and finding ways to stay motivated and stay driven and, rethink things again and again and again about yourself until it finally you figure it out. I talk to Johnny all the time. People have this tendency to call Johnny an overnight success, that he was kind of in the background working, and overnight success took 15 years. It took 15 years of Johnny doing everything that he knew how to do again and again and again to be labeled an overnight success. And I think that if you tap into the story that people have and you research the company, research the person behind it, when you get them on camera, you get them in a video, a branding video, or one of the day in the life videos, you really can pull out that person, the personality. And those are the stories that we really enjoy telling the most.
I remember seeing the video that you did with Jessica, A Day in the Life, and I was mesmerized by it. And it was so great because Gail, who helps us with the podcast and the marketing, she tells us all the time that we need to do more videos because you don't realize what you do is so exciting. I mean, you being in a tile showroom, people love to see that. We feel like we're just doing our job. So I think that whole Day in the Life thing is so interesting for not only, designers, but for the general public to see what's day in the life of a designer. So you've really caught on to that.
Mm-hmm. I was going to say,
it becomes
doing video in a furniture showroom could be like seriously boring. I mean, when you think about like, how do I promote a furniture company? Like there's sofas and chairs, it's like, but you figured it out.
We're so connected, right? We're so connected into that when you tell the story behind the chair, if you speak to the designer that designed that chair and he says, well, this chair was actually created first in 1823, and then we're using sustainable covers and we're, doing these different things and different finishes and state of the art, production on that chair, but it still traces its roots back to, the antebellum era, like that is such a fun story. And it helps when you're telling their stories, especially the stories of the designers. You're giving them this unique, Erica Surratt calls it extraordinary positioning. It's people cannot come to market and see these chairs and tell these stories. So they're relying on designers that are coming before them and sourcing these products and telling the story to the person that, is going to end up, inviting this chair, the sofa into their home. And then that story gets told to the people that visit those people, the homeowner. They entertain people. They sit down. They say, "Oh, I love this sofa," and they say, "Well, let me tell you about the sofa." So it's really bringing life and character to your entire home. Down to the small accessories on a mantle.
Yeah, I will never forget. Years ago, we were at ADAC, and we were at one of the rug showrooms.
Oh, yes.
Remember? Mm-hmm. And it may have been Motar or another one, and they had a rug weaver there from Turkey or India, and their rugs are, lifelong investments. And we were new designers, and we were like, who would spend that on these rugs? But after we spent time watching this old guy meticulously weaving, and it took him over a year by himself for endless hours every single day to create that rug. We were like, here's my credit card, we're all about it. We'll buy it. And we were able to communicate the whole story to our client, who then would buy the rug. So it's important.
Yeah. I think the day in the life, not even really just for designer, but I think there's so many things as I get older that I think, God, I wish that they would teach this like in the senior year of high school, like a day in the life of an accountant, a day in the life of someone. So you can really see what that person does. Cause I don't really, as far as the interior design industry, I know a lot of people say to us, oh God, you get so lucky you get to shop. But it really kind of elevates our industry and shows people what we really do. And I think the general public does not see that behind the scenes kind of stuff.
No, I agree.
No. Yeah. And Kim was the brainchild behind the day in the life. And he has all these ideas that he brings to the table, and we try to implement different things and see what we can do or can't do. And I think this was a big game changer for us because it got us in front of a lot of people that we're always dealing with the manufacturers more than the designers. So this got us into a whole different arena. And I think it's going to be really good going down the road.
Yeah. So you recently were in Oregon with our friend Jessica. And how do you do, like, Joanne and I have really, we've really struggled with video. And this is why we're so glad we met you guys, because we're such perfectionists and we're always so worried about all the details and like, well, we should really be, videoing this whole installation or this process or this day in the life. And then we get all
we just don't do it.
consumed and we don't do it. But so how did you go all the way to Oregon, and how did you even like organize all that? It seems like that would be hard to do.
Because you guys are in High Point.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a lot, and Ken handled a lot of the back and forth with Jessica, and then we kind of developed a game plan. And then when we got out there, there was a lot of there was some hiccups with our flight was delayed, so we lost a day in production because we couldn't get out there when we thought we could. Then when we did get out there, it was half a day behind, so there was a lot of catching up. And then we're shooting not only for Jessica and for the Airbnb, but also for all the different the vendors that were there, the appliance people, the furniture people. And so it was a lot to take in. That was one of our first bigger projects like that. So it was a lot of back and forth with everybody involved and trying to develop a plan as we were kind of working through it on a tighter timeline than what we thought. And so everybody came together and the guys did a great job, and I couldn't be prouder of our product that we produced. And I feel like it was a good project, and I think it was a good stepping off point for us. And hopefully we'll get to do more of these projects, and we'll kind of develop I'm very much production oriented, so I kind of come up with a timeline and checking things off as we're going. So I think this was a good starter for us for sure.
Yeah.
So if
we knew
somebody
that there
wants
would be
to see that video, where can they go see it?
So when that video is done, that'll be sent to Jessica, and then she'll disperse that. I'm sure that we'll put it on our Vimeo also, which is
Okay.
J Davis Digital on the Vimeo channel. But we'll be shotgunning links up to the social media feed for that too.
Really want to see that.
That was such a multi-part project. We knew that we were representing 5 different brands, as well as Jessica and her interior design. We knew we were doing video and photography. And we knew that there were going to be those unexpected hiccups like Johnny is talking about. Outside of the flights, Oregon's weather, especially on the Pacific coast, that home is a beautiful home, and it was built to be a vacation rental. It was built with the intention that, people would come out here and enjoy a round on these championship golf courses. So we knew that we had to kind of pay attention to every small little detail. Nothing could be missed. And Oregon's weather changed about every 5 minutes out there.
Yeah.
So within one day, we had, every time the sun would peek through the clouds, we would say, okay, get the drones up in the air now. We've got clear weather now. And then within 10 minutes, there'd be hail, and rain, and then more hail, and then more sun. So yeah, it was a moving target, to say the least.
The videographer.
But I love you had 5. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. The videographers did an amazing job working between them and myself doing the photography, and then Ken coordinating, and it was a good project.
Yeah, it was a good team. We were able to bring Katie. So Katie Davis, Johnny's wife, is our head stylist in the studio. So interior designers and stylists, like home stylists, they understand what looks beautiful to the eye, but that doesn't necessarily translate to the camera. And so when Katie can come out with her expertise and say, all of these accessories, all of these, throw pillows, or even the entire angle of the sofa needs to change because the camera needs to see it right to tell the story correctly. And it was so helpful having her out there while she was assisting Johnny on the photography side and one side of the house. The video crew was running on the other side of the house, and they were moving. And, you have to light for things like that, especially in video. You have to have light. So even though you don't see those lights and the home looks just naturally beautifully lit, when those clouds come over, you have to replicate that light. And, when we had Jessica walking through the home, kind of giving us the tour, those lights still you can't have her in shadow, So there's so many logistics that are running, and you've got that on one side of this, 7,000 square foot home. And then on the corridor you don't see on camera, you have Johnny and Katie running through and styling the rooms for all the photography needs that also. So that was a big project.
So let me ask you this. We're very versed in photography and shooting our jobs, and we actually style everything ourselves. But so we come a day ahead and we style everything, and we've got the shot list that we've given to the photographer, and then she'll add some stuff to it. But we have a very general plan, and then generally we do headshots at the same time. So we'll bring a couple different outfit changes. So how does it change for video from the designer standpoint, or whoever's hiring you, in terms of being prepared and to help you be successful?
I think the most important thing, I'm sure Johnny can speak way more intelligently about this than me, but from my side, Photoshop does wonders, for photography, and it doesn't exist in video, so what you see is what you get a lot more in video. Like, we can mask things out and we can do effects to, create certain things in video. But if there are glaring, like if there's tags, unless you are taking a tag out, we shoot at 24 frames a second. So unless you're taking that tag out, for the 2 minutes of that sofa or that chair, or whatever is on camera, you really have to be intentional about, is it perfect as you see it? Because that's what the viewer is going to see.
That's a good point.
Yeah, good point. Yeah.
Well, you mentioned that there were 5 brands involved. So what a great way to kill like 5 birds with one stone.
Yeah, a lot.
I mean,
you killed a lot of birds.
You got a lot of content from that one day. At least you were kind of working for everybody. So I think that's a great way to do it.
And I think interior designers need to kind of tap into what that was Jessica's idea, because she said, I really want to do this. This project is amazing and it looks beautiful. The problem is the invoice, like, to get us out there and to give us time to be able to kill this project and do it justice. It does take time, and it costs money. So if you can get, 4 different sources, 4 different vendors, and they all have their own shot list, and they say, well, while you're out there, we're going to divide up this invoice between 4 companies. Now no one's really feeling that pull. So it's a little bit smaller of an investment per company, and they're all getting that real estate. And then they all get the video on the back side of that, kind of allowing them to, Johnny has developed this entire studio and the idea of collaboration over competition. He doesn't see any other commercial photographers competition. It's opportunities for us to collaborate within the creative field. And when you get designers like Jessica Deuce, who have that exact same mindset of, we're collaborating, you've got an appliance brand, a cabinet brand, a furniture brand, the property management group, you've got all of them coming together and saying, we're all proud of this installation. Let's all showcase this installation as best as we can.
So smart.
Oh my God.
Smart.
It's so smart. And especially because it takes so much work to do all this, that if you just have to write a check to get the rights to this project, oh my God, you'd be a fool not to do it.
Yeah.
I always cringe when I look at general contractors and builders' websites, because they don't shoot generally styled spaces. They're showing their work, but it's not attractive because it wasn't styled by a designer, and a designer wasn't involved in that photo shoot. And so
it's lifeless.
It's lifeless. Yeah.
I think photography and videography is like magic.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, we can photograph a picture of a room, but then once we get in there with our photographer and we're looking at it through, on her laptop, for some reason, it like really just kind of comes to life. And we recently had a movie filmed in our office that just came out. It's called Festival of Trees. And when I look at the rooms that they did in our, they don't even look the same. There's some kind of magic there.
Yeah.
And it's so cool. Now, so I know you do a lot of different things. You do commercial photography, lifestyle photography, which I think is really important, commercial videography, cinematography, aerial photography, and color management and pre-press. What is the difference between videography and cinematography?
Yeah. I don't know that.
It's the production, so
everything put in.
Yeah.
Everything put into it.
Videography can be as simple as shooting an event, like that. It's a concert or it's a Christmas party, and you've got cameras running, and then we edit it down and we make it look beautiful. We put sound design.
And you're capturing just what's happening.
Yeah.
What's moving, the moving parts of what's going on.
Cinematography starts with a storyboard, and you're getting into camera angles, and you're getting into what lenses you're using, and how the sound design works and how you're pacing. So think more like movie versus documentary, and
Got it,
honestly,
got it. Yeah.
documentaries are really
Okay.
cinematography projects too.
That's
But
good.
Yeah.
I learned
Yeah.
a bunch of things. I
It's
heard what
making the
grips are, and I
dynamics
heard,
of what you want out of it.
Yes. Yeah. It's the dynamic. For sure.
Got it. So what's your favorite of all those?
Me personally,
Loaded question. Yeah.
I like both of my big thing is lighting. I love lighting. You have to have lighting with photography and video. So I think lighting tells a story with both of them, honestly. And I've always loved photography, but what I always felt like it was lacking is it's not a moving telling the story. You have one image that you have to convey your thoughts or get across a message, and use that one image to do the best you can with it. But then with video, man, you can really sweep across a table, or you can video somebody talking. I mean, there's so many elements to it, and if you light it right, it really speaks to you. It's more than just one image that lives and dies right there. A video, you watch it over and over, and you pick up on things that you didn't see the first time, and then you want to go back and watch it again.
It can be immersive, the video takes, I'll tell clients that are, debating on, taking a strong photo shoot and making a video out of it, or, allowing us to come in and shoot, video of this, like, beautiful home. And I'll say, if we shoot iconic images, and an iconic image, says 1,000 words, we shoot at 24 frames a second, so you are taking that surface level conversation, and you're allowing people to place themselves in that video and in that home, or in that, you're seeing that the chair, the sofa, the table, whatever we're shooting, you're seeing that in such a more dynamic environment, that it allows you to say, oh, I could see that in my house. The same thing with the designers that we shoot for. We just finished fall market, and we're editing those videos down for those day in the life videos for those designers we followed. And it allows people, if you see a headshot on a designer's website and you say, I like them, and then they come out to your house and you realize, oh my gosh, I cannot work with them. Like, their personality is different than mine, their eyes different than mine. The video experience allows your prospective client to tap into your personality and say, I love this person. And then by the time they meet you in person for the first time, they feel like they already know you. It's a 3-dimensional headshot.
I think it's a good point for everybody to take note of, that when you're considering this type of investment, that you really consider all in one swoop.
Yeah.
Photography, video, send the drone up, do some headshots, bring in the manufacturers, what you can accomplish in a day or 2 or 3 of hiring, people like you guys is so huge. And you can take that content and slice it and dice it and put it, use it in so many different ways, that it's really the smartest way to do it. Like, I think of all the times we've just done a full day, and it was exhausting and it took all day, but just a day of photography. We finally got savvy and started throwing headshots in, but there's still so much more that we could do with that time.
I feel like, we know how, technology has changed, however, but I feel like, I think video has really taken the place in a bunch of different industries of kind of advertising, because I think,
for sure.
if you go to Instagram and you're watching somebody, it's an influencer who's talking about something. If it's great video, it's all what they're saying and how they're showing it. That's a great form of advertising, and it doesn't feel, you're not flipping through a magazine to see it.
But it doesn't feel sales pitchy.
Yeah. It doesn't. So I feel like, those
like
investment dollars are going to video versus print, or,
Oh, absolutely. And, Johnny's invested in state-of-the-art cinema cameras that we use. This podcast is actually being shot on a cinema camera right behind our laptop. So the nice thing about that is they can be shot in vertical or landscape format. So if a designer comes in and says, well, out of my day in the life video, I want 5 pull-out segments that are going to live and die on Instagram, we know that we can turn those camera vertical, and now you're shooting for a social media format, which is so nice, and it increases the capability of allowing that real estate to live. Yeah, absolutely.
I would think too, having that video, having that video on your website. Someone comes to your website for the first time. I don't know, is that like, is the size of something like that doable on like a regular website?
Yeah, we make all of the videos, to be formatted for like a landing page video. And then, anything that's on social media, those smaller video segments, they link to your landing page video. They link to your YouTube channel or to your Vimeo account. And,
Yeah,
you can
that's a
do on
no-brainer.
a website, you can do an entire project, page. So you finish this home in, Florida, you have all of your photos during the construction. You have your day in the life that starts at market as you're sourcing for that project. And then we come back out and we shoot the installation, we shoot that finished project. And now you're telling the entire story. You're allowing anyone who goes to your website to see from concept to completion what that story looked like, how it took shape, how it was executed, and, allow them to dream a little bit about their project.
That's really impressive to a client, I would think. And even
extremely.
maybe going to your website and watching you film that and seeing your setup and seeing your process. I think that's the thing that people like to see. I really love this idea.
Yeah.
People love the behind the scenes.
Yeah, and we're doing more and more
Always.
of that
Yeah.
now. We've got
It's so much
Claire.
fun to
Yeah, she's been amazing at doing all the behind the scenes stuff, because it is crazy how people tune in to how things work. I mean, I know I always watch different videos on how to do this or that or whatever, and I don't ever think about it on my side. Nobody wants to tune in to see what we're doing, but I mean, it is.
People love to see you have this beautiful lighting, and what you don't see is, 5 lights with these cards, and it's called Hollywooding, where you just like hold up a black card to just cut off a little bit of light from a little angle to get a little bit of light into the frame.
Yeah.
It shows your
Love that.
value, and it shows that your prices are based on the high end equipment you're using. So, I think that people see all that.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yeah, they do. And, Johnny mentioned it before, but, we couldn't be happier of the team that we have. And I think that is so important. It has taken a long time to kind of build a team that works so cohesively together. From that first concept, from that first pre-production meeting, we say, okay, this is the project. Everybody kind of throws in, well, I think this and this and this. And then the videographers and, Logan is our sound engineer, and they all come together and they say, okay, this is the sound, this is the lighting, this is the look, these are the lenses, this is the hardware, this is the logistics. They pull everything together, and I watch them over the shoulder and I think, oh, I love these movements. I love these camera movements. I love what I'm seeing. But then they take it, it's almost like what you were saying about photography. You take it from the camera, and then when they get done with the edit, it is amazing to see what they do with the transitions, and the sound design is so important for a video, it can really engage the viewer, or it can take the viewer out of that experience. The right music paced at the right speed with the right kind of ambiance. It's amazing to watch it come together. I mean, I'm impressed every single time they send me a video for a review. I'm like, guys, this is next level. I mean, it is constantly better.
Well, we're next. I'm sure you'll be we'll be working together at Spring Market. So
we're already
looking forward to that.
Market. Yep.
Yeah.
We're already
so excited.
To it.
Yep.
So everybody can check you guys out at jdavisdigital.com, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
That's
And
right.
on Instagram, you're J Davis Digital, the same.
Yep.
Easy
The same.
schmeezy.
Yeah.
Well, you guys, this was
Absolutely.
so insightful, and thank you for sharing what you do in a day in the life, and I think that like I said in the beginning, I think this is important for all entrepreneurs, for all creatives, and even if you're a furniture company, a CPA, or whatever,
An artist, watching the process of an artist is fascinating.
Really kind of consider this work for sure. Hang on for us just one second. We're gonna. Oh, go ahead. Yeah,
Sure.
go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say, the nice thing about the day in the life videos is we centered them 2 interior designers with Jessica's and Erica's, first, but the day in the life is exactly what you just said. It can be any industry, any trade, any creative pursuit that you have, to tap into that artist mentality is so much fun for the viewer and for the creators.
Yes. And so important for your marketing, for sure. All right. Well, hold on. We're going to do our quotes that we end with, because you've listened to so many of our podcasts.
Yes, I do.
So,
all right. I've got to tell the funny one, because this is the story of my life.
okay.
Although I'll tell you in a minute. You've got to find someone you are thermostatically compatible with. A 74 can't marry a 62.
That's so true.
I can't tell you how many times I'll walk through my house and be like, did you turn that thermostat down? Like, what is that thing at? I'm freezing. And he'll be like, I'm sweating. So this
Yeah.
is the story of my life. So we still married each other, but I'm a 74 and he's a 62.
Oh God.
But I love him.
My house
Get
was
it.
at 66 yesterday and I almost died. Okay. Serious quote. Ready? Videos aren't about perfection. They're about connection.
I mean, there it is right there. Right?
I love it.
There it is right there.
We just summed up our whole
Yep.
conversation.
I love it. No, I think that's
okay.
perfect.
So we also want to give a special thank you to our team, Russ Reba. He is with Podcast Studio Network, who handles our production and engineering. There he is. And Gail Mahoney of Gail Mahoney Branding and Designs, who handles our production and social media and marketing for our podcast.
Yeah.
And
So-
then one last thing.
Yes.
We mentioned don't miss the heartwarming new Christmas movie. It's called
yes.
Festival of Trees. So part of this movie was filmed right here in our office in Kennesaw, Georgia. You will hear our name mentioned. We didn't know this.
Yeah.
Within the first few minutes, there's a couple of reporters that are talking about the Festival of Trees, and they've mentioned Cantor and Cole is in the competition or something like that. And then they videoed our conference room, our workroom, my office. So you can watch it on Apple, Google, Amazon, and more.
So you don't have to watch it on Up TV anymore. You
No.
can find it on
Yeah.
all those.
Yes.
It's actually
Yes.
pretty cute.
It's
I thought
cute.
it would be kind of corny, but it's not.
It's very Hallmarkish.
yeah, but
very
it's so
heartwarming.
cute. It's the story of this interior designer who's trying to win this Festival of Trees competition, and it's so cute. I really loved it. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was crazy to see our office. I'm like, oh my God, there's our conference wall. There's the photo of my family room on the conference wall in the movie. So it was great.
Yeah. Well, thanks for listening, everybody. And thank you, Ken and Johnny. What a great, great conversation. We really appreciate taking the time to talk with us.
Thank y'all very much.
Thank you for having us on.
Yes, that was
All
that was
right.
so much fun. Thank you.
Thanks everybody.
Bye.
Bye.
Join Joanne and Kelly for a new episode every other Friday as they continue to explore the nuances of the interior design business with the goal of informing, inspiring, and entertaining their listeners. See their work at Kandrak-Cole.com and engage with them on Facebook and Instagram at Kandrak Cole.